Hey, it's the Talkies.
Hey, it's the
Hey,
Talkies.
it's
And
Talkies.
today we're going to talk about a Studio Ghibli movie.
Is this the first time we've
Studio
This
covered
is the first
Ghibli
time we've officially covered one.
Officially,
officially
It's
with a
actually
released episode?
one of our most notoriously bad episodes was a roundtable discussion of Studio Ghibli movies.
In general.
Round table.
Yeah, it was our first attempt at making an episode of the Talkies.
Didn't we do a one camera?
One camera and
we
the
all
two
sat next to each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we all sat like really
Hella
close
awkward.
to each other. So we were like talking like, hey, yeah. It was really weird. Yeah, we scrapped the episode, but it had nothing to do with the content.
Yeah, it was just like
It looked bad.
yeah.
And it sounded bad too.
But that was what inspired us to set up our 3-camera rig.
Which has worked for us ever since, and it's worked for us right now too.
3 cameras
Three
right
cameras. Yeah.
now. I
So
was
what-
looking in the Talkies studio.
Oh yeah, because you're at the office right
I was
now.
just looking
You're
in
actually
there.
at the studio.
Looking at that lonely round table. It was just sad.
So sad.
So, Kenny, you mentioned that Porco Rosso is your favorite Ghibli film, right?
No, I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it's special. I don't know how to exactly describe it. I always say that my favorite are a tide of 3 films, but those 3 films are everyone's favorites, right? Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle. Those are my top. But I always bring up Porco Rosso because it's this really, really cool, good movie that no one has seen and no one talks about. That's why when people have that conversation, I always bring it up. I'm like, oh, you got to know about this. Yeah.
I've so far just loved every Ghibli film that I've watched. Yeah, and that includes this one. And it's just another added to the list of awesome, amazing films.
Yeah. And most of his movies take place in some kind of alt reality Japan. But this one takes place in an alt France and Italy.
Yeah.
Which is different and it really fit well.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. What was your hot take, Tay?
I love this movie so much. I absolutely loved it. It's probably like yeah, Kenny, because I haven't seen Princess Mononoke, so I can't rank it. But like Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, Porco Rosso. That would be my 3 in that order, pretty much. I absolutely adored this movie. Everything about it. It was the adventure of it.
Yeah.
It almost felt like Indiana Jones at times.
Yeah.
You got a little
It's
because
so
it's like
fun.
1930s, you know, super fun.
Yeah.
Porco Rosso is
fun,
the best character ever.
Such an awesome character.
Yeah, so great. Yeah, he's just a pig.
Yeah, and I love it. They don't go to great lengths to explain how he became cursed to wear a pig face, and then they don't go to great lengths to wrap up the ending either.
Yeah, dude, I love the ending. I was
just like subtly inferred.
There's a tiny hint,
Yeah.
So great. Wow.
That's what I like most, I think, about Ghibli films, a mix between those two things. One, where they don't go into great lengths to explain a bunch of things. Like Totoro, I think, is like probably the best example, where they have all kinds of magical things that just exist and people just acknowledge it, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love in Totoro when like the kids come and tell their dad like, "Oh, we rode on a cat bus," and he's like, "Oh, that's good. We should say thank you to the cat bus."
right. And like the little the sit spirits, I forgot what they're called.
Soot sprites.
Soot sprites. Yeah. Whenever they're rolling around, they're just like, "Oh, I gotta brush them out. Brush them out of the way."
Yeah.
And
another Studio Ghibli. I don't want to call it a trope because that has like negative connotations, but a Ghibliism, a Ghibli hallmark is multifaceted villains or villains who end up becoming completely humanized.
Yeah.
And in this one, you had the pirates and you had the American fighter pilot who both by the end are basically moral equals with everyone else in the movie.
Yeah.
Like friends.
Yeah.
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 That's why
Like
I always
everyone.
love that. Like at the beginning, especially like when the pirates kidnap all the little girls, and like the pirates, dude, they're not threatening at all. Either they're trying so hard to be threatening, but even the little girls are just like having fun, and it's like all in good spirits, even though they're just trying to like be pirates. Porco Rosso is unfazed by them at all times. It's kind of hilarious how
That's what was. It was funny
they
because
are.
in the very beginning when they called Porco on the phone. Which, by the way, how did he have a phone out like in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah, it's just a wire leading off into the woods.
They had wireless technology in the 30s.
He
alt 30s.
He gets a call on the phone, and then we cut to the pirates, but the pirates look similar to Porco, and because they had just this personality about them, and all the girls that they were about to kidnap were all excited to see them, I immediately thought, oh, this must be like Porco's team or something coming over to attack the pirates. But that's how like, you know, moral they were. They just exuded this energy of totally fine.
Yeah, they're like lovable antagonists.
Right.
I thought that was really fun.
I love the Italian women building the airplane.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That whole sequence
was great.
Yeah,
I love
pretty
that sequence.
Awesome.
I also my favorite sequence in here is the dogfight. That's at the very end.
Oh yeah,
man! Wow,
that's such a
which devolves into a boxing match.
Yeah,
and they devolved into a Death Stranding.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's how Death Stranding ends. Spoilers, Death Stranding.
There's this thing in Ghibli films that I thought was really, really interesting. Also, a Ghibliism is they're usually compared to Disney, right? You would say that it's like a Japan Disney, but while they feel very lighthearted and everything, they still show smoking and drinking and sexuality, but like without nodding to it. You're just like, these just exist in the world and they're part of humanity.
Yeah, it's not like Warner Brothers, her sort of like yeah, hubba hubba kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. It's not like, if you put it into your movie, it doesn't have to mean anything. It's just there.
Yeah, and they're also not afraid to portray the main character having negative traits, being a womanizer.
Yes, I loved that because when it's what's interesting about that is when he was in the beginning, when he what's the girl's name? I can't remember her name.
The engineer?
Yeah.
She was.
I want to call her Theo, but it's not Theo.
No, that was it. It was Theo.
Theo
with an F.
Yeah, F. With a PH actually. Yeah.
Theo. Okay. Yeah. When they introduced her, and then he's just like, oh, it's a girl, and she's young and whatever. And I was just like, geez, is it this kind of movie? But no, it's that kind of character.
Yeah, I did the same. Had the exact same thought process. I was like, I don't. It's kind of one note, but then at all.
Right. And it's just
actually complex.
Yeah. The Italian grandpa, when he says grace, he's like, forgive us for building a fighter plane with the hands of women.
Nice. Yeah, I love that. I love the complexities in the characters.
It makes sense because he's a pig. Of course, he's a womanizer.
I love the. I thought it was a little heavy-handed, but I did love the constant analogy of being a pig.
I thought that was so great. Yeah. It's funny because he's the only pig, and it's played straight.
Yeah.
Like it's just completely straight.
Well, yeah, and he's like semi-famous too.
Yeah.
When people recognize him, they're not like they're not like freaked out that he's a pig. It's more like,
oh, there's Porco.
There he is.
Porco. Oh, hey, it's Porco. Hey, what's up?
Yeah. Again, like the presence of a cat bus.
Yeah.
Just
it's very whimsical.
It's there. Yeah.
So originally, Miyazaki was going to make this a 30 to 40 minute short that was meant to be an in-flight movie.
That's pretty funny.
For Japanese airlines, some Japanese airline. And then he liked the concept so much that he expanded it into a feature. Later, he said that he referred to it as his most foolish movie that he's made, because he said he was trying to make an adult story, a grown-up story for kids. And for some reason he felt that it didn't work.
That's interesting, because that's the kind of vibe that I got from it, and I think it works.
That's what I liked about it.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm wondering if he, I don't know, wanted kids to get into it more,
I was going to say, because like if the intention is for it to be for kids, then I don't know if that is successful or not. As an adult, I loved it.
Yeah. And I guess the name of the Porco, his real name, Marco something rather.
Yeah, they kept calling him Marco. I was a little confused.
He had a last name too, and I forget what it was, but that's the name of the Italian inventor of animation.
Wow.
Oh. Yeah. I like the Ghibli engine.
The engine.
Yeah.
Ghibli.
Engine Ghibli.
It's like a Hemi.
It's like a Hemi. It's a Ghibli.
It's a Ghibli.
Oh yeah, that thing got a Ghibli?
Is that a Ghibli?
This is
Ghibli.
This is one of his earlier movies.
1992.
92, yeah. And I think they were like started in like the 80s.
Before Taylor was born.
Yeah, I was a wee non-existent.
Just a wee.
A wee non-existent.
Remember we had our debate about whether we should watch this in Japanese with subtitles or with the English dub. Miyazaki personally directed the recording of the Japanese and the French.
Really?
There's a French version, and he said that the French dub is his favorite version of the movie.
That's really interesting. That's pretty funny.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna learn French now.
I know, just so we can experience it.
The best version of the movie. I really liked Porco Rosso's voice actor.
Yeah, I didn't see who that was, but it was fabulous.
Yeah, it was just like a voice. He's just like a regular guy. He's not putting on any kind of like pig voice. He just sounds like a detective or something from the 30s.
I thought that was a bit weird sometimes because with Japanese sensibilities in like animation, you know when they laugh really really big, like their mouths open,
the mouth
like,
gets gigantic,
this big, that they're supposed to be making fun of the other person that they're laughing at, and it's like it's the volume of their laughter that hints how much they're making fun of the other person. And it's weird with this kind of guy because he always talks like this all the time, and then so suddenly when he laughs, he's like, ah! And so
yeah. A couple of times when he burst into laughter, it was sort of uncanny.
Right.
Sort of
like what the?
I think just always with English, also because you're trying to fit the amount of English into the same amount of Japanese space, but then at the same time say the same thing, and then it's hard to do that kind of stuff. So
yeah, it all fit really nicely, I thought.
And some of it got in the way for me. I mean, I watched a lot of One Punch Man for this same thing got to me, and I'm like, it's different with movies and then with series. I think with series is they do it for volume, so they just translate it almost straight, and they don't really direct each episode. So like with One Punch Man, it's way better to just watch the Japanese because everything matches up and it makes sense. Whereas a movie is like it's way more directed. So you're like, well, okay, don't say the direct translation. Say this instead. That kind of means the same thing, and then blah blah blah.
I love the animations of the planes when they're flying over water, and we're like tracking with them.
Or there was one scene where he was flying over a landscape very very low. And you were seeing the hills and cliffs and sheep and stuff just vanishing underneath him really fast.
That was so good.
That is an animation feat.
Yeah.
That is I felt very advanced for 1992.
92 hand-drawn animation.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah.
It doesn't get better than that, really.
That is interesting. Something that I've always noticed about Disney films in particular is that they have what is it? The details in Disney films, like the effects animations, I think is what you call them, where like raindrops will like hit cars or other puddles. Like those things are really detailed. Like you can see the raindrop, and then you can see it ripple and then break apart and everything like that. In Ghibli films, I've never seen that same kind of detail in those little things, but almost the same amount of work goes into big things that happen. So like, as opposed to just one big splash that happens, it's like the plane that flies over the water and then goes over their landscape. Then it's like the same amount of study is done on just one sequence as opposed to one detail. And I think it just makes for different animation, but I enjoy the Ghibli ones better.
I do too, personally. I feel like there's a lot of choreography going on in Ghibli animated movies.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of really intricate camera moves. Moves.
Yeah, camera moves so much more.
Yeah.
In here, it's funny they move more than most Japanese animation, just in general.
Yeah, and it's a dance. It's a real between the camera moves and the actual animation move it's insane.
It is insane. I couldn't
one of the craziest.
Wrap my head around that.
Yeah, right. I mean, you're really thinking. It's actually, I think, more challenging to think 3D,
right,
while animating 2D versus actually animating 3D.
Yeah,
right?
Probably. Yeah, it takes a lot of more like mental calculus or something.
Yeah,
physics. Well, because you're taking into account the whatever direction the camera is moving and making sure that feels right, and then the actions within the frame moving and feeling right relative to the motion of the camera. So it's all
one of the craziest examples of that is in Ponyo, when they're driving down the highway up and down these steep hills while a huge tsunami is coming in at the same time.
Yeah, that is
it is one of the most complex visual sequences with regards to how elements within the scene are moving, like the waves and the cars.
Yeah.
And then the camera moves on top of that. It's bonkers. It's absolutely bonkers.
The camera moves in, I know we're not talking about all Ghibli films, but Princess Mononoke. Princess Mononoke has camera moves that follow arrows.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. And I really, really, really admire all the camera moves in that movie in particular, because everything's really fast moving. It's really cool.
I really want to see that right now.
I still haven't seen it. I watch a few talkies on it.
Yeah.
I watched just a little. I didn't watch it all the way, but I love that movie so far.
Yeah. It's got such cool creature design in it. Some amazing
I like the characters most
design.
in that movie. I think that one, and I'm really getting off topic. What is that movie? Grave of the Fireflies. That one has really strong characters also.
That's the one I still haven't seen.
I haven't seen that either. It's supposed to make you cry.
It made me cry.
But is that one directed by Miyazaki?
I don't know. I've heard that it was. I heard that it was, but I don't remember.
So Miyazaki has got a thing with aeroplanes.
Yes.
It seems that way.
Yeah. His most recent directorial animated movie was The Wind Rises.
Yes. The Wind Also Rises.
Planes. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
All about planes.
And I don't know that.
That was his last
2011 or something.
His last film he directed. And then there's another one, an older one, Castle in the Sky. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
So that one
is pretty cool.
Tons of airships and planes and things. That's a wild movie. It's really cool.
His family, wasn't his dad a pilot or something? Or
sort of, yeah. It's crazy when you watch some of the older Miyazaki films to see how much has been lifted and copied in more contemporary animated films. That movie Castle in the Sky has, if you could watch that side by side with Disney's Atlantis, and it's like rip off, just direct rip off.
That's funny.
It's too bad.
I like this movie.
Me too. I think it's amazing. I actually didn't expect it. I expected to like it, but I was surprised that I liked it as much as I did. Like it surpassed my expectations of how good it could be.
Every time I watch a new Ghibli movie, I'm just like, I know I'm probably gonna like it, but like the same thing with you, Tay. Like
Yeah.
almost every time that I watch a new Ghibli film, I'm like, it's gonna be good, and then I watch it, I'm like, this was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, that's just great movie making.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny how few people have dug deep into that his work. I
So
think
consistent.
yeah, I think he's the best. I think he's the best storyteller of the era.
I really like his stories. It's strange because I think about other animations that I've seen, not particularly Japanese, but just animation as a whole doesn't seem to have a whole lot of really well written stories for them. You know what I mean? A lot of the Disney films obviously do fairy tales, which don't have a lot of depth to their characters and plot situations, complexities, and stuff like that. And I think that's what I like so much about this kind of filmmaking. Also, there's not a lot of anime that does too. I was just thinking about Japanese animation, but yeah, I think it's the complexity and the detail orientedness of the stories that he's telling and everything like that.
Detailed stories.
Yeah. Well, he has that awesome combination of very good stories, very empathic characters.
Yeah.
Right. And a wild imagination, just off the hook imagination.
You know, something about that also, something me and my brother typically always that draws us away from most animation is that we get weirded out if the animation is too weird. Have either of you seen Paprika?
I have not seen it. I know it though.
So it's an anime and feature
Surreal.
film, but it's really surreal. But what's weird about it is that the animation itself gets really strange, like people's faces, morph and stuff like that, and it's just really odd. And I like that Ghibli doesn't take the oddness of his creations and turn it into weird animation. And it's just because for visual people like me and my brother also.
Well, I mean, he does some weird, like totally bonkers stuff, but it's always anchored in the characters and stories.
Always, right. Well, it is always anchored, but I like how he keeps most of the visuals pretty constrained. Even Cat Bus is it's a crazy looking thing, but it doesn't morph and it doesn't stretch, and it's just kind of it's simple. And I feel like all of his stuff is very simple to look at and easy to understand, and that makes me happy when I watch these kinds of films.
His movies follow Porco Rosso has a story structure that I feel like I can't really predict that much, or it doesn't feel like it follows a typical 3-act structure, though it does feel very crafted and very much structured, and it does have a very specific pacing, but it feels like a really unique pacing. It feels like a structure that was made for the story rather than a story made for the structure, if that makes sense.
I don't know. Okay, elaborate. What do you mean?
Like there's never the moment where I was like, okay, now the characters are in their turmoil state, and the down state, and then they'll come back later, sort of stuff. It all
feels like an organic
one foot after another
story.
Organic. That is the word. I really like that about it. I also like that we get scenes, animated scenes where it's literally characters just talking at a table, in a bar, and it's shot reverse shot in an animated film, it's a drama or something.
Right. Yeah.
It felt very noir,
it did feel
like
noir.
A Private Eye movie.
Wow, that's interesting.
Comes with the 30s stuff, I think.
Well, and all the self-monologuing.
Oh, yeah.
Right? All the talking to self. That's really noir.
I don't know why. I love all of his self-monologue stuff.
Dude, he has some of the best quotes ever.
Gotta take this to the shop.
Those guys think I'm going to wait around here. Right. No, I'm going to Milan. Beautiful women. Good food. Soft bed.
Porco Rosso is he's some mix of Indiana Jones meets James Bond meets a noir detective, and it's big.
Definitely, yeah.
Something
Definitely
like
noir
that.
detective with that. I do get that indie feel too. That's funny.
Yeah, he's an Indiana Jones, Humphrey Bogart
Yes.
There you go.
hybrid.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
If
That's really
Indiana Jones
funny.
was Humphrey Bogart, there you go.
Yeah. Minus archaeology.
Plus,
Plus,
Stuff like that.
plus pig.
airplanes. Plus
Plus pig. Yeah. And then on top of that, plus pig. What a crazy character.
Yeah.
Works so well too.
It does.
Yeah. Well, you know what was so interesting is that he didn't have to be a pig.
Not at all.
It wasn't
Oh yeah.
that like the story did not hinge upon that
Yeah.
fact at all.
Yeah. See, that's my favorite kind of storytelling is where they take things like that and they're just like, obviously this is in the film for a reason, but like for his, it doesn't really matter. And I really, really like that. It's
Right.
just you're not, it's not surface level, you know.
Yeah,
it's complex.
he's a pig to illustrate his character further.
Yeah, and even without that, it would have been fine, you know.
Sure.
Even without his quote pig-headedness, you know.
Mm.
I found it interesting that there'd be times when it was like, hey, you should be serving your country, you should be patriotic, and he's like, yeah, well, I'm a pig, so I don't do that. And
Yeah, I love that.
he could have been a human character who just says, well, I don't give a crap about
Right.
anything, so no. Right.
He's a hyper individualist.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what noir detectives were.
Yeah. He's like, gotta fly.
Yeah, God,
Work
I gotta
alone.
do my thing. That's what.
Sorry, babe.
That's what the bounty hunter characters are, right?
Yeah.
Is that they've kind of given up on themselves, and so they do whatever it pleases for other people.
Yeah.
I really like that complex, the complexity in his character at the one point when he was at not his girlfriend. Who's that French girl? Just a friend of his.
The
That has
lady who owns the restaurant and sings.
Yeah.
That was the wife to his old compatriot that died in the right.
Okay.
He had married her, and since then she had fallen in love with him.
Right. Okay,
He didn't think he was worthy of her.
See, that's just adds to the complexity. I love that.
And then the last line of the movie hints that they ran off together.
Yeah. A little secret.
Yeah.
There was a part where in the beginning when he was in the room with her and there were photographs on the wall and he mentioned one of them and then she said, I don't like that you scratched out your face. And I'm just like, I love that they don't really go so much into the detail as to why he did it. It's just another part of his character. You're just like, oh, I get it. He's now accepted himself as a pig and he's not accepting that other life anymore, or he's running away from it. And I really like that.
Yeah. The scene that caught me off guard and I was like impressed by and like kind of won me over, besides the opening 10 minutes, which is just such a great fun sequence, was when Porco Rosso is back in town and he goes to like the gun store and like the kid is like selling him guns with his father. And he's like, they're talking about like the difference between like a mercenary bounty hunter versus somebody who does the same thing, but for like a political
war profiteering.
End. Yeah, war profiteering. Yeah. And I was like, wow, it's like casually deep.
yeah, casually deep. Yeah, I love that. Can you hear
for an
this,
adventure anime movie?
Yeah, I hear.
I heard that. Arf.
Woof. Arf.
That's not arf.
Arf.
Let's
We'll be right back for pizza.
Let's end the meeting and come back because we got 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Till next time, we'll see you at the movies.
See ya.